What does loyalty cost you? After all, there's a cost to doing and there's a cost to not doing. Loyalty feels like it's the right thing to do. It feels like a solid idea, something strong, something that you should stick with all the way. But there's a point of no return, where it starts taking from you rather than giving to you. And a lot of people don't notice that because they're emotionally knee-deep inside of it. They're inside the emotion, so they justify it. Loyalty keeps everything together. It keeps people in a relationship and building together. It keeps the commitments from falling apart. That part is very useful. But loyalty can make you stay in a relationship longer than you want to, longer than it actually serves you anymore. It no longer fits your life and it no longer serves you anymore, but you choose to stick around anyway. And once that happens, you feel like you've handed over your choices to the other person. Not willingly either. It feels like you gave up your choice because you are getting molded by the very need to keep things from falling apart when maybe they should fall apart, and maybe for the good reasons, because the relationship no longer serves you. But perhaps you can't recognize that because you're emotionally knee-deep in it. You start to see it in tiny ways every day. You explain why you're still involved to other people, try to rationalize it. You might even defend your choices when you're not even sure about that anymore. So what do? You put off all decision that would actually change your life. So you drive your energy, and it goes towards trying to keep things together and hold the relationship in place when in actuality it's falling apart. It has been, and perhaps you don't want to look at that. You don't want to put any energy into building anything new, so you decide to keep rebuilding what's old even though the other person's not putting any effort in. It's like a plant, and two people have to feed it and nourish it. That plant can be called relationship, and it takes two people to deliberately provide nourishment and effort for that relationship to maintain itself. And here's the deal. It builds inside of you when you keep turning away from it. When you keep ignoring what you need to do, it escalates. Your time starts going around that one idea of what if I stay? So you try to make it work. Your focus totally zooms in on what might fall apart if you step back. But what if it was supposed to fall apart and you're just trying to hold it together, even though it takes two to tango and the other person doesn't want to nourish that relationship? So your decisions, they start coming from a place of stress. You don't see anything clearly anymore. You're stressed out. And stress will usually narrow your choices. It'll stop you from seeing all your options in front of you. At some point, it's going to feel like it's the only choice when it's actually not. It becomes something that you just keep doing because you've been doing it. And the longer that goes on, the harder it is for you to leave that relationship and step out of it. And maybe even just let it fall apart. It takes two to nourish that plant. And if the other person doesn't want to nourish it, don't force it. Maybe it's time to let go. That's what's really valuable. Loyalty is supposed to support your life, not take it over. It works with you. It works in concert with your efforts. And it no longer works when it's running your time, your energy, and most of all, your direction. And at that point, there's no building anything special anymore. You're tired. You're exhausted because you're the only person keeping it together. So what do? Well, you try to maintain something that's running your life for you. You're trying to maintain something that has been falling apart or has fallen apart 2 years ago, and you're trying to keep it together. A lot of people don't see the change that's happening right away. It happens in those little tiny choices. You decide to stay instead of stepping back, even though the relationship is about to die on its own. You're putting it on life support, trying to keep it alive, when in actuality, the other person doesn't want to live. They don't want to stay. So what do? You continue to fix, repair, instead of actually questioning the value of what is truly there. So what do? You try to push through it. You make excuses for the other person. instead of making it sense out of the whole thing. And those little choices, those choices to not leave, they add up until one day you start to see what's really going on. You see it clearly when the relationship was already dead and your hope kept it alive because you reserved your loyalty for somebody that didn't reserve it back for you. And that's when you see it clearly. You see it clearly when you've been holding on to something for so long that you stop noticing actually what it's been doing to you, what it's been doing to your heart. And you drag yourself through that pain when you really don't have to. So what do? You wake up, smell the coffee, realize that it takes two to tango. Two people have to nourish that plant and keep it alive. Two people have to give it time, love, effort, energy. But when one person ceases to do that, you don't have to get mad. You don't have to get upset. You don't have to push them to do anything. Allow it to go. Let go. Because maybe it was supposed to die, but you chose to not look at that. Maybe it was supposed to die a year ago, but you remained hopeful. You remained loyal, when in actuality, the other person didn't want any part of it or nothing to do with it. They gave up a long time ago, and you just didn't see it. This is Mario Leone on the Voices of Victory podcast show. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day.